Hey there, I'm Jason Van Genderen. I'm the filmmaker behind Mankind is No Island that won Tropfest New York in 2008, and I consider myself a bit of a Tropfest tragic. I think I've entered more times than anyone else I know. My filmmaking journey with Tropfest has really been experimental, like me finding my voice as a storyteller. I think I was the very first smartphone film to ever get selected as a finalist in Tropfest and then eventually win. And I think that's what Trops really taught me, that there's no barriers, there's no limits to making your story come alive. And it doesn't matter whether you've got a $100,000 camera or whether you've got a $50 camera in your hand. As long as the story's incredible, you can still get it made and get it seen. When we made Mankind is No Island in 2008, we had no script and no storyboard. So we actually made this film with no clue about what we're actually making. And it was this big visual experiment which just happened to play into our hands, happened to work, and happened to find an audience through Tropfest, thankfully. So without Tropfest, that film would never have got seen. To think about 10-year journey, 10 years ago is when I actually started my story with Tropfest. It's something I think about every day I wake up. It's crazy. I'm pretty lucky in that our film didn't really owe us much. So in making our film, it was all shot on a smartphone. We made it for $57. So a $57 film shot on a smartphone as an experiment. We had no script, no storyboard, and we got selected into Tropfest. That film getting into Tropfest for me taught me as much as a filmmaker as what it taught the audience about what you could make with simple storytelling told in a powerful way. It's something I think back on every single day when I do all my commercial work today. I always think back to the simple way of making great story come alive, and it's something that Tropfest really endeared in me and I'm really thankful for. It doesn't matter what your budget is, whether you're working with $1 million budget or whether you're working with $100. There is always going to be the unplanned stuff, and I think allow space for the unplanned. So actually don't keep your concept or your project so locked and so rigid that it's not flexible to change during the making of your story. So leave a little space for the magic to happen. And it doesn't matter whether you've been in Tropfest before, you're on a level playing field every single year. Every year it's a clean slate, there's new stories, fresh creatives, new voices out there, and that's what Tropfest is trying to shine a light on. That's what Tropfest really celebrates. It's the new heart of storytelling. I think the most important thing that Tropfest has given me is confidence to believe in myself as a storyteller. That's without a doubt the best thing it could have given me. My biggest bit of advice for people wanting to enter Tropfest 2019 is to not make a film that's already been made. So many people fall into that trap of looking at previous Tropfest films and going, oh yeah, that's what they like, that's a Tropfest film, I'm going to make that kind of a film but different. Tropfest isn't interested in seeing what's already been made. Tropfest wants to see the stories that haven't been made. The festival's got such a huge reputation, and because there's such a massive live audience, that sometimes there's a bit of a confidence gap between creatives wanting or knowing when to enter Tropfest. And to those guys, what I say is just dive in with your head, your heart, with everything you've got, and make that story like there's no tomorrow. Because being part of that Tropfest cycle, the learning process, even if you don't get in, going along as an audience member and seeing what films actually do make the final selection in 2019 will teach you so much about storytelling. For filmmakers that are procrastinating about whether to enter Tropfest or not, I would say get off your ass, bash that idea into shape, jump in with your head and your heart and everything you've got and make it like there's no tomorrow. You've got Christmas holidays. I mean, that's ample time. I've made a Tropfest film in 2 days before. So get off your ass, make that film, get it in before January 4, and sit back and see what happens. You might just kick off the rest of your career, you never know.